how an affiliated pediatrician seamlessly coordinated care for his patient during the difficult NICU days and years to come. The TopLine MD Alliance goes beyond the practice.
Anna and Eric are such a special couple. What they were going through, though, is something no parent should ever have to go through. And as much as you could be surrounded by love, they were at their loneliest and darkest time. To help support them, to offer our programs to them, to message them and let them know I was just thinking about them, or to come down to the hospital and hold their hand, or to check on their baby when they weren't able to be there. I think that is the cornerstone of what ICU Baby is about.
ICU Baby is a not-for-profit that's our main goals and are to help support families while they have newborns in the neonatal intensive care unit.
ICU Baby was really born of personal experience. My youngest of 3 was in the NICU, and he was there for 6 days only. But during those 6 days while I was with him, I was able to see other families who had much more challenging NICU journeys. And it really showed me how much parents suffer by the bedside of their babies while they're being cared for so wonderfully in the NICU. And I wondered, who is helping parents?
The first couple of days when you're in the NICU, it's a whirlwind, obviously. You go from 0 to 1,000. You ask a lot of questions to the doctors, but you don't want to really bother them with the minutia of your day to day, and that's where Beth and ICU Baby was so helpful for us.
I went in for a checkup at the emergency OG office in South Miami, and that's when I found out that I had to stay. I was pregnant with twins and I had thoughts baby B, and they told me that the whole goal was to wait as long as possible and to postpone my me giving birth. So we were in the hospital for about a week before I gave birth. I went straight to surgery. So the next day is when I went to the NICU for the first time, and I met Beth for the first time. It was day 2 of Life for Cash. Beth was really sweet, and it was the first interaction I had with anyone that had NICU experience. When I met her, I remember telling Eric I thought she was the sweetest person I'd ever met. And she came at a time that we needed someone like the most. And I remember being able to relate to her more than I was able to relate to most people. Other than Eric, it was someone that she knew the right questions to ask me about how I was feeling.
I found out that they were born early and started going to South Miami to visit Cash, where he's in the NICU. He's had several surgeries, procedures, and he was there for several months.
Dr. Stout went to South Miami to meet Cash for the first time, and he basically walked us through what it would be like once he came home, because I had no idea. I think my whole goal was to get Cash out of the hospital, so I wanted it so bad, and I wanted to have him home, but I hadn't really processed what it would be like once I left the hospital. It wasn't like we were going to leave the hospital and everything was going to be okay.
We were in a bubble in the NICU, and everything was so sensitive and so emotional. And when we came here, like Anna was saying, we had no idea what we were doing once we left the hospital. It was all care 24/7. We didn't have to do anything. And then we came here and we were still kind of in that state. And Dr. Stout and I speak the same language. We're very direct, and I appreciate that about him.
It's going from 24/7 monitoring and care and help and to I have to do this now on my own, and it's a big transition. So I think ICU Baby helps a lot, and we can help as physicians a lot by making that transition less jarring and less of a shock to their system, and having that support for them that they know they can look back and they get that educational materials. They get to take them home with them. We actually have an app that they help, and they can always go on the app and watch the videos, and they have access to me and access to the ICU Baby mentor if they need it. So I think it prepares them much better for the transition that oftentimes can be quite stark from in hospital to at home.
He explained the checkups, but he also explained to me that it was going to be a checkup with all his other doctors that maybe he had started seeing at the hospital and others were new. Nephrologist, GI, all these doctors, and Dr. Stout basically told us how they're all going to communicate to make sure that they're all basically aligned, and everything was funneled through Dr. Stout. Even though I hadn't thought about it, it kind of gave me a peace of mind knowing that everything would be funneled through him, and if I had any questions or any recommendations, even if it was about another doctor, he saw the overall picture and he would be able to guide us in the right direction.
We have some of the best medical professionals that our country has. Dr. Stout is my pediatrician and takes care of my children. He is exceptional. He is exceptional at the bedside. He's exceptional with the care of children, babies. But what really distinguishes Dr. Stout is that he cares so deeply about his community, about the well-being of children beyond their health well-being, that he has taken ICU Baby just to a new level. Anna and Eric are tremendously strong, and you can see that reflected in this beautiful character, compassion, energetic Cash. His story is a beautiful, sad story, and he is just such a ball of energy. And when you think of where he came from and how he started in this earth, it shows you that miracles can happen. It's really a privilege to have gotten to know them that early on in his life. He's going to do great things.